first started talking, but the activity day is an assessment grade, basically a quiz grade. Monday, the test on this unit so far is also a quiz grade. I don't know why this won't move. There we go. So our activity is to create or edit an already created spreadsheet that will organize the data about our portfolio. Once again, you're using any combination of 10 assets from the notes you took, 85 notes yesterday. You can use 7 stocks and 3 bonds, or 9 stocks and 1 bond, or you can use all 10 stocks if you want. I don't care, but you do need to know which they are, stock or a bond. I had to do a little bit of Googling, but a bond typically is going to have something about it being a bond in its name, and its ticker symbol is going to look a little wonky compared to a regular ticker symbol for a stock. So you should have been able to distinguish that yesterday, given the assignment yesterday. I'm trying to get out of what I've done already. Oh, of course Google is not responding. If you have not already, click on the red bar at the bottom and then go to the top right-hand corner up here and click Edit Document. You're going to have to sign in to your OneDrive as well. Okay. All right. Student U. Mine looks like yours. Load in a separate window. And edit the document. When you do, everybody should be up on the screen with all these questions. Is everybody here? So how many of you used a spreadsheet, Excel spreadsheet before, besides in our vacation project? All right, just a couple of you. It's an organizational tool. It can also be used to create visuals, like we're going to use it to create a pie chart that represents our data about our portfolio. One of the cool things about one Excel spreadsheet document, you can put multiple pages in. So if you look at the bottom right now, you're on the wrap-up page in this document. You looking up there, Colby? That's the last thing we're going to do. We're going to go over to part 1 here. That's where we want to start. So everyone go ahead and click on part 1. Colby, you do not appear to be where we are, buddy. Not even close. Ayana, same. All right, so you'll notice your copy and my copy should look the same. There's investment name, asset type, ticker, current share price, number of shares, total opening value, and percent of my portfolio. The only part you're going to mess with is A, B, C, D, and E. F and G have formulas in them. If you mess with the formulas, you mess up those columns, okay? You're not allowed to just do the math. So the total opening value for each stock is going to be the share price times the number of shares, and that's what this formula is doing. Cell D2 times cell E2 gives us a total opening value. When I grade your assignment, if that formula is not there, but you type in 390, you don't get credit for that. Because the whole point is not for you to tell me that value, it's for you to use the spreadsheet, okay? Same here. The percentage of your portfolio is going to be the total opening value for each stock divided by the total of all your investments. If you'll see here, this one says F2 divided by F12. So F2 divided by F12, right now it's 100% because that's all I have in there. Does that make sense? Okay. So what we're going to do now, I'm going to go ahead and take out those number of shares, and y'all go ahead and take out the number of shares as well. Go ahead and take that 26 out. And actually, let's just go ahead and take all of this out, because I don't want, you're not allowed to use Hewlett-Packard. You're not allowed to use Hewlett-Packard. That was our example. Even if that was one of your stocks yesterday, pick a different one. Okay? You need 10, and I have 10 that I've already put in, and I actually put them in another spreadsheet so I can just copy and paste. So the first thing you're going to do here in a minute, I'm going to let you enter at least a couple of your stocks. Oh, that's not right. So you need 10 stocks. Copy. I already have mine, so I'm pasting. So there's my 10 stocks. You'll see some of them have super long names, so it changes the side. It automatically adjusts that cell height. It wraps that cell length. Those are settings in the spreadsheet you can change. So right now, go ahead and type at least a couple of yours in from your notes. I'm going to give you like 2 minutes. Type in 2 of the investments, 2 of your stocks or bonds or whatever. Just type 2 of them in. You got a minute or 2. And while you're at it, you can go ahead and type in the ticker name as well. So that would be the abbreviation. So remember, for Amazon, it was AMZN. For Microsoft, it was MSFT. You're typing in your stocks and bonds from your notes from yesterday. You're just typing in a couple of them. Just type 2 of them in so you have some data in there, okay? Mine is not right again. That is not the ticker. Well, I'm having so much trouble copying and pasting, but I'm going to try it again. Sorry? No? Okay. So once you have your 2 stocks in, make sure you put the ticker name in. My Next Tracker Inc. ticker is NXT. Strangely, Brinker International Inc. is EAT. That's the ticker name, EAT. The next thing I'm going to do is there's a drop-down menu here, and indicate if this asset is a stock or a bond. My first 2 are stocks. Actually, my first 4 are stocks. This one of mine is a bond. So everybody understands the drop-down menus, right? So I'm going to go ahead and finish my asset types. So when you're done, yours will look something like this. You with me? Yes? Okay. So you should probably only have 2 because it takes a second to type. So I ask you to type 2 in. Go ahead and indicate if they're stocks or bonds. Go ahead and make sure you have your ticker name in there. When you picked it out yesterday, you put stocks supposedly in the table with 10, and you should have put bonds in the table with 3. If you're not sure, you can Google it if you not sure you did them right. But not right now. So pick one, but just pick a type right now, and you can go back and change it later if it's not right. All right. So the next thing we're going to do, those 2, let's go to open a new tab. Everybody open a new tab. There's a link there, but it's not working for everybody. So just type in Yahoo Finance. We used that one yesterday. Click on Yahoo Finance once you open that tab. And now for the assets that you put in, You can take the ticker name, that's the easiest, and type it in Yahoo. So my first one I'm going to type in is NXT. When I do that, it's going to come up with my next tracker stock. What we're looking for is the current share price. The current share price is this bold number here. You'll notice it's changing because the stock market is live. Some of them will be changing, some of them won't. If they're not being traded, they might not be changing. We're going to round to the nearest dollar. So for this one, I'm going to go in my spreadsheet, and next to next tracker, I'm going to say that the current price per share is $48. Does that make sense to everyone? So go ahead and do that on your two stocks. I'm going to do my other one. My other ticker is EAT. EAT. And I see that my current price for that one is almost $177. So that's what I'm going to put. I'm going to round up to 177. Any questions so far? Ayana, sit up for me. Thank you. So right now you should have the current share price for your two stocks you put in. Does anybody need help? I've done that for all of mine, so I've gone ahead and entered all mine in so you can see what it looks like when it's done. Tristan? You said round up, right? Round up. Well, round, which means, you know, up or down depending on Colby. So lost. Well, part of it's because you weren't where you're supposed to be when we started. Remember me saying we had gone through a couple of things. So go ahead and catch up. Where are you now on it? I was at the Yahoo thing. Okay. Do you have your assignment open? Yep. So click back on there and let me see what you've gotten done. Yep. Have you clicked on the red bar? Have you clicked edit the document? Yeah. Okay, there you go. Now, you haven't gone to part one, so look at the bottom. Look where I am up here, Colby. I've been waving my mouse around up here for you to see. You're supposed to be on part one now. So now where it says Hewlett Packard, the asset stock, HPE 15, you're putting in yours, right? Unfortunately, we're about to move on. You can go ahead and start typing yours in if you want, but make sure you're keeping up with us because you want to see an example of all the things, all right? You can work on this with me in class tomorrow, and by with me, I mean you can work on it, and if you have a question, I'll help you. But today is the overview day. Tomorrow, you try it, and then let me know if you need my help. I won't be walking you through it step by step tomorrow in class, right? Okay, so Colby, what you're going to do is, these are all your stocks or bonds, depending what they are. You indicate which they are, stock or bond. You have to make sure you have your ticker name, that ticker symbol there, and then you use the Yahoo that you were at before to find the current price. Are you caught up with me? Yes. Okay. Now, the next thing we want to do is we want to start entering numbers of shares. So we're not really investing in these stocks, so this part is going to be pretty random. The thing is to remember, though, you can't go over $5,000. You should be probably within $25 of $5,000. You might not be able to get exactly $5,000, but the way you're going to do it, get all 10 of your stocks in, get all 10 current share prices in, and then start just picking numbers of shares of stocks. Now, I put in 2 stocks, 10 of my Next Tracker Inc. and 20 of my Brinker International. Look at my opening value. I've already spent $4,000, so I probably have too many of this expensive stock. Does that make sense to y'all? So this is what you're going to be doing. You're going to be looking, okay, wait, that's probably too many. That's expensive. I'm going to go down to 5. This is also expensive. Maybe I'll do 4. Maybe I do 6 of that one. As you enter your total number of shares, the Excel spreadsheet is doing the math for you, right? So right now, I have a balance of, I've spent $3,645 because I bought all of these stocks at these current share prices and this number of shares of stock. Does that make sense? Sam, you good?
Yeah. If it's arbitrary, we just pick.
Yeah, for us it's arbitrary. We're not trying to weigh which ones we would prefer to buy more of. Right? We're just trying to squeeze in with our making sure we don't go over our $5,000 there. Pretty much, you can put in random numbers here. Oh, look what I did though. I put in a random number. What did it do to my? I went over my budget, right? So I got to take some of that out. If I take 4 out, I'm still over my budget. I mean, I take 1 out, so I'm going to go down to 2 there. Now I can do, let's do 2 here. I'm within $60 of my budget. I've got these cheap ones up here. I can increase these. Oh, too much. Oh, I don't think I went down. Ooh, I'm within $5 there if I go up. I actually hit exactly $5,000. You probably won't. Earlier in the day, I've never hit $5,000. I hit like within $15, $16. I'd be happy with that, okay? Then if you have some really low, so these are bonds. The bond funds are less expensive. So if you have some of those really small ones, you can finagle your money to get closer to $5,000. So if you're not at $5,000 and I look over here and see you have a $4 and a $5 fund, then I'm going to expect you to be pretty close to $5,000. Does that make sense? So if you have a $4 fund and a $5 fund, you shouldn't be $15 or $16 off. Does that make sense, Deanna? Okay. Hunter, does that make sense?
Yes.
Tristan, make sense? Okay. All right, so far this is the easy part. Are we good? Do we agree it's kind of easy? Remember, don't mess with the formulas here. I can help you fix the formulas if you do mess it up, so don't stress out about it. But you're not supposed to be messing with those columns. I'm going to give you like 30 seconds to finish typing whatever you're typing and then pause because we're going to go to activity part 2. This one is the more confusing part. This one has instructions and the names of the things on here are not just exactly the same thing as the instructions. The names of my things, how mine looks, is not exactly how yours looks. For whatever reason, not all of yours will look the same either. So your options won't all look the same. Welcome to any sort of software that you use, right? Sometimes you just have to play with it and figure out different versions, updated or less updated, or the different versions for different devices might be a little bit different. Right now, everybody go to part 2. If you're not at part 2 right now, this is the part you want my help with. So go to part 2. I should see everybody on part 2. There should be no yellow highlighting on anyone's screen I'm looking at, because part 2, you'll notice, doesn't have any yellow highlighting, right? Right now, I want you guys to real quickly just read the directions here, because we're going to follow these directions one at a time together. But it would be best if you'd read through them. So we're going to do step 1, we're going to do step 2, we're going to do step 3. I'll tell you, I can't do mine in this exact order. It won't work. I have not been able to figure out how to get it to work that way. Mine will pop around a little bit. Yours, I think, will, but we're going to do step 1, step 2, all the way down to step 10. So read them. I'm going to stop talking. I'll give you 30 seconds. Okay, so let's look at step 1. So what we're doing now, very important, are y'all listening to me? Don't change anything in this chart here. The way this spreadsheet works, these different pages, this activity part 1, that's where we enter all of our data. This page, part 2, this page, part 3, pulls data from part 1. So if you change the data on part 2, it's not going to be reflected in part 3. Does that make sense? And it's not going to be reflected in part 1. The only way it gets to all the pages is if you enter your data on part 1. So, you don't have all of your stocks in, and that's okay. You can still do the other parts. Once you finish typing in all of your stocks, the share price, the number of shares, and all that, your pie chart, because we're going to create a pie chart that's basically a visual aid of the data about our portfolio. Does that make sense to everyone? But the spreadsheet's going to make it for us. I don't know if you've ever done a poster where you had to create a pie chart, you had to draw the circle and, you know, label everything. The spreadsheet will do it for you, okay? And that's what we're practicing. So if you're not on part 2, you need to be on part 2. Jonathan, you're not on part 2 because I see yellow highlighting on yours. Okay. All right, so if you're on part 2, now scroll all the way up. Jay, go all the way up. Jonathan, go all the way up. Iana, go all the way up. That way you can see your table data. So what I've entered on part 1 is popping up here. Please don't mess with anything on here. There's nothing for you to edit here. So step 1 says, click on any empty cell to the right, then select, so let's see that first, any empty cell. Then it says, select insert. So insert is in the top menu up here. I'm wiggling my mouse up there if you can't find it. Click insert, and now pie chart. So we're going to tell it we want to make a pie chart, and then we're going to give it the specifications for what we want displayed in our pie chart. Okay? Your directions now say to change the name of your pie chart to your name, Pam Zimmerman Investment Portfolio. Mine, for whatever reason, won't let me do it right now. Yours can. Double click it. Double right click it. Okay, so then let's do this, because this is how mine, if yours won't change, has anybody changed? No. Okay, so that's okay. Let's go over here and see where this is. Backspace the J7 out. We're going to go down and do step 2, and then we'll be able to change our name. So it should say equals A1 colon G11. We're telling the spreadsheet what data we want it to look at, and then click apply. A1 colon G11. You have to have the equal sign in there. You do have to have the equal sign in there. So we're telling the spreadsheet we want to look at the data in these cells. From here to here. Y'all can play if you want, but you're going to be on your own. All right? A1, it's in your directions right there. So look at step 3. Well, you can drag your pie chart now. Once you put that thing in, can you drag the pie chart? It's right, your directions right here. A1 colon G11. So in your right-hand thing over there where it says source, you're typing A1 colon G11. It says you only have, don't worry about it right now. We're not done. Okay? But you can see it's got all the right things highlighted, right? Those are the cells we're supposed to be looking at. Okay? Now you should be able to click on that and edit your title. Okay? So now once you put in, yep, it's a pie chart. Let's type in Amina Brown Investment Portfolio. You're just changing the name of it, right? You can. So once you put in that source, double click on the box where it's got the word I know, but it should not keep it up. Put your phone away, that would probably help. No, but it is a distraction even when you're not on it. Did you do instant and pie chart? Okay. Did you get a click here? And this will pop up. It should be in data. So you get what I told you equals A1 dot G11. You're typing this right here. Yes, okay. That's not what we're doing. Okay. Part 2. Do you need to go to the clinic? Do you need to go someplace else? Please. So then you need to sit up. Okay. All right. So that all right now, that's not right. That's not what you were asked to do. You were asked to put, it's in the directions. Put your name, Brianna Felony Investment Portfolio. I've already answered that. Hold on, let's see. Not yet. It could be, could not be, right now. That's not what we're, yeah. Okay? I don't know why some of them pop up with the pie chart immediately and then later. It just depends on what you've entered already. Okay. So we've done 1 and 2 and 3. So 3 just says this A1 to G11 just tells us what data that the spreadsheet is pulling from. Okay? Right now, that's what it's pulling from. Step 4, we're going to go to setup. So over here, you see the setup? I'm wiggling my mouse. Colby, are you with me? On setup over here. So your directions say to look for slice name, but you'll see there's no slice name on mine, and I think it's slice labels. Label, name, kind of same thing. That's what I'm talking about when you're working with software. Sometimes it's not going to exactly line up with that terminology, but a slice label and a slice name are what we are looking at. So the directions say select investment name. Mine doesn't say investment name. I could also click select column A because, look up here, investment name is column A. A2 to A11 is what I'm looking at, so I'm selecting that one, and I'm going to delete the rest. So if there's any others here, and there's 2 other columns here, I don't want those. To delete them, you click the trash can. Are you with me? Because that's what the directions say to do. Yes, Michelle? Bring it to me. You're way behind, Ayana. You do need help, probably, because you were sleeping. Okay. So if you don't have anything there, you can just click on that column, Nishad. And drag it. Actually, it won't let you drag it. Investment, it's this one right here. So it's investment name for you, so now you're there. Investment name, so yours may come up like mine did, or it may come up with investment name. If it comes up with an investment name, click on it. So here we are, slice name, but we said that's slice label, so click add field, and investment name. There you go. That's it. That's it. All right, everybody with me? You got investment name or A2 colon A11 here, some light version of that. Stacy, good? I know you don't, honey, because you missed all that part because you were sleeping. I can't go back right now and help you with that. You just pay attention. That way when you're doing it on your own, you'll at least have seen this part of it, okay? All right, so slice values, slice name we did. Now we're going to number 5, slice values. and delete everything except total. So slice values are here. So everybody looking here, this is where we're going. The only thing we want here, it says, are total opening value and percent of my portfolio. So we want these two. We're going to delete anything else that's there. We delete using the trash can. Ayana, I'm recording this. You can go home and watch it tonight for that first part that you slept through, all right? Yes? Okay. Brianna? Okay. Well, we're not going to worry about that right now. We're just going to go through our steps right now. Once you get finished with part one, if it's still not there tomorrow, you and I will work on it, all right? Right now, we're just worried about part two. We're not necessarily even worried about exactly what our pie chart looks like. We're worried about making sure we've told the spreadsheet what we want in our pie chart. Sam?
If I want to change the number of shares, will it update the pie chart by 9?
It will. But you have to change it in part one, right? So later on you can do that. So nothing is finalized, right? We can always go back to part one and change it, and then it'll change your pie chart.
So when we deleted that stuff, we got rid of, like, all that other stuff that was in the part one, right?
Well, it's not all of the data is going to show up in our pie chart.
Okay.
Okay, so now we're going to go to number 6. The terminology is a little different here. It says click on Format tab, and we're talking about the Format tab over here. So I'm on the right-hand side, Nishad, you're not looking. Look at there. Format, click on Format. It says uncheck legend. So it's not a check, it's a toggle, but it's green. If it's green, it's toggled on. We want to untoggle it. Are you with me? Did you untoggle yours, Isabel? Tristan, you untoggled? All right, now we're going to click on series. Right here, we're going to click on the arrow to drop down and open up more options on series. And we're going to turn on data labels. So that means toggle it to green. Michelle, I ask you to take your headphones off. Thank you. The next one we're going to do is we're going to go to the category name. And once again, it doesn't say category name. It says label contains, oh, I lied. We are going here, it says check category. So under the series name, we're going to check category name. We don't want value. It tells us we want category, name, and look over here again, and percentage. You with me? Okay. The next thing says, for the separator, so you see the word separator here, you want a new line. I think they're all going to pop up with new lines. Just double check it. And you also want for your label position to be best fit. That's what mine has popped up every time. So if yours is not, then you want to change that. Now, I'm done with my pie chart. This is what yours should look like once you get all your data in it. Okay? Brianna? Sweetheart, darling face, little schmookums. You've told me that like 4 times. Every time I tell you, once you finish doing your part one, if it's not right, then you and I'll work on it tomorrow. But you barely entered anything yet. Okay? So don't stress out about it. We have tomorrow in class if you want, Friday in class if you want. You have all weekend. It will not take you that long. All right. And then last but not least, the directions say click and drag the pie chart below this set of directions. So there's mine. Mine is quite lovely, I must say. All right, are you with me?
I understand.
Okay.
Good job,
It is not that confusing. It is a menu-driven piece of software, but the more you use it, the more you figure out. Sometimes you just got to work around or Google what to do, or try one thing and undo it. The undo button is your friend. Okay. I'm done with part 2. Okay. Let's all go to part 3. So we can at least talk a brief second about that. We don't have a lot of time for that, but talk a little bit about that. Part 3 should look like this. No pie chart here, you see. This is my data from part 1, all of my data from part 1, but let's scroll over and you'll see there's a new column. That's the rate of return column, or the rate of investment column. We don't know what the rate of investment, this is the, are you listening? This is important. This is the only column you can update here. You can't mess with any of the other numbers, you'll mess everything up. Okay? This is the only column you update. So what do we put here? Remember the first day we did our stock market activity where I had to roll the dice simulator, and that's how we knew if it was, the price was going to go up or down, and then how much it was going to go up or down? Well, instead of that today, now we're going to have basically a Wheel of Fortune wheel for bonds and a Wheel of Fortune wheel for stocks. You're going to enter for every one of your asset types, you're going to spin the wheel. If it's a stock, you're going to spin the stock returns. If it's a bond, you're going to spin the bond returns. So go ahead and real quick skim the directions, read the directions, at least for the bond funds, because they're the same for each. It's just you use a different wheel, right? If it's a bond, you use a bond wheel. If it's a stock, you use a stock wheel. But other than that, it's the same thing. Okay, so I need to put a rate of return for every one of mine. So my next tracker Inc. is my first one. It's a stock. So I'm going to go down to the wheel of stock returns and control click. I think it's going to open it in another window, another tab. I'm going to click to spin for my first stock. The rate of return is 15.1%. So I'm going to go here, click on that cell. It's in the line with next tracker. I said 15.1%? Yeah. 15.1%. So we divide it by 100, right? So we're going to put it in as a decimal. It's a positive, so I just leave it. So it's going to be 0.151 and enter. Are you with me? So that stock has increased in value by 15.1%. Yep. Refresh it. Yeah. It's looking pixelated, weird.
Yeah.
I had a couple people do that today. You hit refresh, and then mostly went back. Let me know if it didn't go all the way back. So I'm going to use that same wheel for my first 4, and then for my bonds, I'm going to use the bond. It's not the same wheel. There's less options on the bond one. I will be able to tell if you use the stock one for your bonds and vice versa, because there's only a few options for the bonds. So the bond is 4% for my first bond. I would not do them like this. I would do all my stocks and then all my bonds. It'd be easier, right? It increased by 4%, so the decimal version of 4%, 4 divided by 100 is 0.04. Is everybody clear on what we're doing on this part? All right, then the wrap up is answer the questions after you've done part 1, part 2, and part 3, okay? There are some links to videos and stuff on the first page, but honestly, this is how to create a Google Sheet and how to enter the formulas. You don't have to do any of that. All that is done for you. It's still a good video if you're interested in learning more about Excel spreadsheets, but here's some more links to articles about reading the stock chart or whatever. This is the link that we're using for Yahoo Finance. Anyhow. So, the last step here, once you're done, you're going to copy the pie chart from part 2 and paste it to the right of the instructions on this tab. I'm going to finish. Oh, I don't have my rate of return here. Oh, yeah, I do right there. I'm going to copy these. Use the ones I did earlier. After I do this, I'm going to go back to part 2. You click on your pie chart, Control C to copy. Go back to part 3, and it tells me to paste it to the right of my stuff. Okay? Okay, so if you want to work on it tonight at home, you can. You don't have to. You should have enough time in class, but if you're nervous about it, Brianna, go ahead and try to finish your part 1 at home tonight, and then you and I will work on it.